With the election of the President and the Vice President drawing close, the Election Commission has published the list of voters. Meanwhile, the parties have expedited their efforts to ensure their candidate is elected the next President of the country. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Voters' name list for the election of the President and Vice President published. 331 members of the House of Representatives and 550 of provincial assemblies to vote in the polls. CPN-UML remains firm in its stance of having its candidate elected as the President, floats alternatives during Unified Socialist Chair Nepal as a candidate, Unified Socialist excited at the prospect. Chinese President Xi Jinping reportedly preparing to visit Moscow for a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, partly termed Chinese effort to end the war in Ukraine. And Nepal under-19 cricket team leaves for the United Arab Emirates with aspirations of qualifying for the under-19 World Cup after 8 years. Age group side inspired by senior team's recent success. The Election Commission has published the list of voters for the election of the President and Vice President. In the election where members of the House of Representatives and the provincial assemblies are eligible voters, names of 2 members of Parliament have not been included. Meanwhile, parliamentarian Lakshmi Mahato Koiri, who is listed as absconding by the police, has been included in the list. The Election Commission has published the list of 881 voters, including 331 members of the House of Representatives and 550 members of provincial assemblies for the election of the President and Vice President. The list does not include Nepali Congress parliamentarian Tek Bahadur Gurung and Arun Kumar Chaudhary of Nagarik Unmukti Party. The parliamentarian status of Rabi Lamichhane, elected from Chitwan Electoral Constituency 2, has already been scrapped. The Election Commission has set until 12 noon tomorrow for filing grievances. Despite exclusion from the voters list, there are possibilities for Chaudhary to vote as his suspension has already been lifted. The final list of voters will be published by 4 p.m. on February 24th. Candidacy for the presidential post is to be registered on Saturday, February 25th. According to the Commission, vote weight of federal parliamentarian is 79 and that of provincial assembly member is 48. CPN-UML has remained firm in its stance of having its candidate elected as the President. CPN-UML has been claiming that its candidate will be elected the President as decided on the December 25th consensus. UML has said that if a national consensus is not reached on its candidate, the President would be selected through an election. CPN-UML is looking for alternatives as Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has not agreed on the members of CPN-UML proposed by party chairperson KP Sharma Oli. Therefore, UML has expedited parleys to seek alternatives. During such efforts, UML has already proposed CPN Unified Socialist Chairperson Madhav Kumar Nepal as a candidate for the President. UML leaders have accepted that Nepal is positive regarding the proposal. UML is strategizing to become the largest party of the parliament by electing Nepal as the President and merging with Unified Socialist. CPN Unified Socialist has decided to accept the proposal of presidency. The secretariat meeting of the party held at its office in Alok Nagar has decided to accept the proposal for presidency and expediting talks in this regard. CPN Unified Socialist has begun discussions regarding the presidential election after it had received a proposal from CPN-UML. The party is also holding talks with Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba among other leaders regarding the presidential poll. Nepali Congress and Loktantrik Samajwadi Party have held discussion regarding the upcoming presidential election and candidate. Leaders including Loktantrik Samajwadi Chairperson Mahanta Thakur reached Nepali Congress President Deuba's Thumbarahi residence this morning to hold a meeting in line with the upcoming presidential election. The Madhesh-based Loktantrik Samajwadi Party has started lobbying for its chairperson Thakur's claim for the post of the president. In response, Nepali Congress leaders said that the party was also making preparations to field its candidate. In the meantime, a meeting was also held between Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal and CPN-UML chair KP Sharma Oli at the Premier's official residence in Balwatar. The Prime Minister's Secretariat has said that efforts are underway to reach an agreement for the consensus candidate. With only 2 days remaining for the registration of candidacies for the presidential election in Nepal, Chinese Ambassador Sun Song has expedited political parleys. Ambassador Sun met with Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal at his official residence in Balwatar earlier this morning. Prior to this, Ambassador Sun had met with Dahal at Balwatar for the first time on the 16th of January. According to the Prime Minister's Secretariat, Ambassador Sun had reached Balwatar to invite Prime Minister to attend the Boao Forum slated between March 28 and 31 in Hainan province of China. Ambassador Sun had also met with CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli. After meeting Prime Minister Dahal, Ambassador Sun had reached the residence of Oli with 2 officials of the embassy. Ambassador Sun has met with Oli in 2 separate occasions. With the presidential election drawing close, diplomats of both neighboring countries have expedited their parleys. Indian Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra had met with 14 political leaders, including Prime Minister Dahal and CPN-UML chair Oli during his 2-day official visit of Nepal on February 13 and 14. The Deputy Inspector General of Police Ashok Singh has resigned from his post. Singh had reached the police headquarters earlier today to resign from the post after it was revealed that he had forged his age and assumed his duties. The age of Singh, who was the head of the police of Sudur Pashchim province before he resigned, did not tally in his citizenship certificate and the police seat roll. Singh, who began his career as sub-inspector of police on 19th of March 1995, would have continued to serve until the year 2025 if he was not dragged into his citizenship certificate issue. Singh, who was a claimant for the post of Assistant Inspector General of Police (AIG), had been eyeing the post of the Inspector General of Police. A complaint was filed against Singh for forging his age at the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority (CIAA). The law has set different actions for different nature and gravity of crimes. Some of them are known as organized crimes, while involvement of planners and executioners. 10 years have gone by since Nepal introduced strong laws against those involved in cross-border crimes and organized crimes. Despite such arrangements, incidents of organized crimes have been on the rise, while implementation of such laws has remained feeble. The Central Investigation Bureau of the Nepal Police has arrested Prithvi Bahadur Shah. The CIB has also made preparations to file a case of organized crime against 7, including Shah, for bringing in 650 million rupees to Nepal after embezzling funds in the United States of America. If found guilty in the case of organized crime, additional 50% of fine is added to the amount set by the court. 3 weeks ago, the Anti-Human Trafficking Bureau arrested a group of 5 individuals which had taken a 16-year-old girl to India and filed a case of human trafficking and organized crime. These are just a few representative examples. Police investigations have shown that the involvement of Nepali nationals in organized networks of serious and heinous crimes have been on an increasing trend. The government had introduced an act for organized crime with strong actions 10 years ago. However, 107 financial crimes of organized nature have been recorded since the introduction of the law. Meanwhile, 33 cases of murder, 36 related to arms and ammunition, 17 of abduction and 32 related to explosives have been filed. In addition to that, 15 of the 24 against whom rape cases were filed have been found guilty as well. A total of 323 cases of organized crimes are in progress at the court. However, experts have identified the need for sound investigations to ensure the effective implementation of the laws. Nepali nationals will no longer be allowed to go to Dubai and Qatar for jobs of bike riders and taxi drivers. The government, which had been imposing strict measures for domestic helper jobs for women in foreign employment, has now prohibited Nepali nationals from the jobs of bike riders and taxi drivers. The Department of Foreign Employment has decided not to issue permits for the jobs of bike riders and taxi drivers in Dubai and Qatar following many complaints. After making the decision, the department has suggested Nepali embassies in Dubai and Qatar not to certify the demand of these jobs. Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Sudan Kirati has said that the new president would be elected with national consensus. Speaking with journalists in Tumlingtar, Sangkha Sabha today, Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Kirati expressed belief that the new president would be appointed on the basis of a national consensus. Minister Kirati also added that the tourism was the backbone for economic development of the country. The government has made preparations to begin a campaign to prevent the spread of lymphatic filariasis disease from tomorrow until 9th of March. The government has geared up to conduct medicine distribution campaign against lymphatic filariasis in Chapa, Morang, Dhanusha, Mahottari, Rautahat, Sarlahi, Bara, Raswa, among other districts. The Ministry for Health and Population has said that the medicine can be consumed by all those above 2 years of age. Meanwhile, children below the age of 2 years, pregnant women and women that have given birth in the past 7 days, as well as those that have critical health condition, are advised not to take the medicine against lymphatic filariasis. The government has said that those that have contracted the disease can protect themselves from disabilities after consuming the medicine. Red Panda Conservation Program has begun in a ward each of 2 local levels of Bhojpur. Community March Bhojpur has begun the community-based Red Panda Conservation Program in Temke Mayung Rural Municipality, Ward Number 1, Timma, and Salpa Silichur Rural Municipality, Ward Number 5, Dobhane, with the support of a Red Panda Network. The network is to provide a budget of around 2 million to 2.5 million rupees for the Red Panda Conservation Program in the ongoing fiscal year. The first phase of the program will include research on Red Panda, public awareness, management of habitat of Red Panda and sustainability of the region alongside regular monitoring. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what could be the reason for the failure to protect important data on government server? Your options are A, government's negligence, B, weak infrastructure, and C, lack of skilled human resource. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. Chinese leader Xi Jinping is preparing to visit Moscow for a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the coming months, according to the Wall Street Journal. Citing people familiar with the plan, the newspaper said that the Xi-Putin summit was part of a Chinese effort to play a more active role in bringing the year-old war to an end and part of a push for multi-party peace talks. China will also use the summit to reiterate calls that nuclear weapons should not be used, the report added. Preparations for the trip are at an early stage and the timing has not been finalized, the journal said, adding that Xi's visit might take place in April or in early May when Russia celebrates its World War II victory over Nazi Germany. China's top diplomat Wang Yi is currently in Moscow and expected to meet Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Wednesday. In a tour of Europe, Wang has stepped up calls for a negotiated settlement to end the war in Ukraine, which began on February 24 last year when Russian troops invaded the country. Xi and Putin last met in person in China ahead of the Beijing Winter Olympics last year, days before Russia's invaded Ukraine on February 24. The two men announced a no-limits partnership where no areas of cooperation were forbidden. They had a video call last December. Beijing has not condemned Russia's actions or joined Western-led sanctions against Moscow, but it had urged a restraint and stressed disputes should be settled by peaceful means. Wang is expected to discuss Xi's trip while he is in Moscow, the Wall Street Journal said. The Kremlin has hinted Wang might also meet Putin. Emergency services were called out to the hotel where U.S. President Joe Biden was staying Wednesday morning in what the fire service said was a false alarm after a hoax call. 4 fire engines arrived at the central Warsaw skyscraper around 9 a.m. local time. Across the street from the hotel, a small group of demonstrators chanted and displayed banners calling on Biden to send U.S.-made F-16 fighter planes to Ukraine. President Biden had been under mounting pressure to provide Western fighter aircraft, a move which proponents say would help give Ukraine a battlefield advantage over Russian forces. Biden will meet leaders of NATO's eastern flank countries on Wednesday in a show of support after Russia's president suspended a nuclear arms control treaty and accused the United States of turning the Ukraine war into a global conflict. Last month, 26-year-old Sally Azhar from Jerusalem was the first Palestinian woman pastor to be ordained in the Holy Land and Jordan, drawing inspiration from her father, Sani Ibrahim Azhar, who is currently serving as a bishop in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Jordan and the Holy Land. Despite facing opposition to her ordination, Azhar aims to achieve equality and inspire women of her society to become pastors and have more roles in the church, highlighting the importance of women in religious leadership. According to one pastor in the Lutheran Church, Munther Isaac, it is time to look at religious texts from the perspective of a woman and a mother, particularly in patriarchal societies.
Sports news.
Nepali cricket team has left for the United Arab Emirates with the aspiration of playing at the ICC Under-19 World Cup after 8 years. Most players of the age group squad led by skipper Dev Khanal and coached by Jagat Tamata are competing at an international tournament for the first time. Only 6 players, including Dev and Arjun Saud, have represented Nepal at the senior level and age groups. Dev was assigned the responsibility of captaincy as Gulshan Jha was playing for Nepal in the ICC World Cricket League 2 tournament. Skipper Dev has said that Nepal has the opportunity to create history and the team would not waste it. Coach Tamata has said that the success of the senior squad in the home series of the World Cricket League 2 has inspired the age group side. The Cricket Association of Nepal has urged the National Sports Council to initiate efforts to allow Sandeep Lamichhane, who is alleged of raping a minor, to travel with the squad for the UAE tour. Lamichhane, who is alleged of raping a minor, was released on a bail of 2 million rupees by the Patan High Court on January 12. While he is barred from travelling abroad, he is required to furnish a written notice to District Police Kathmandu before leaving the valley. Based on the court verdict, rape-alleged Lamichhane must inform about the date of his departure, arrival and the location of his stay. However, the Cricket Association of Nepal is making efforts to take Lamichhane to the United Arab Emirates for the ICC World Cricket League 2 series. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.